Today we will be discussing the value of a class field trip to the Miners Museum located in Glace Bay, particularly at a grade 4 level. In the grade 4 social studies curriculum, this field trip falls under several units or topics. The first one being the citizenship, power, and governance unit, the outcome being that students will demonstrate an understanding of the rights and responsibilities of citizenship and the origins, functions, and sources of power, authority, and governance. Throughout the field trip, it is frequently discussed how the miners' lives were essentially owned or controlled by the company that owned the coal mines. When miners tried to fight back through striking, the company began taking away their basic necessities, including food, shelter, heat, etc. Throughout the duration of the strike, one man, William Davis, was killed, and today we still observe Davis Day in Cape Breton to remember him. For the People, Place, and Environment unit, the specific outcome that will be met is that students will demonstrate an understanding of the interactions among people, places, and the environment. In Glace Bay, mining is a major part of our history. The environment through coal mining provided a source of income for 80,000 men in Glace Bay. Glace Bay's economy thrived. These interactions will be explained to students throughout the mine tour. Finally, for the Time, Continuity, and Change unit, students will demonstrate an understanding of the past and how it affects the present and the future. Students will learn how the mining industry has left a lasting impact on our town. It has cross-curricular opportunities as well. In the science curriculum, students will be able to describe how scientists' knowledge of plant growth has led to agricultural and technological innovations and the impact on local and regional habitat issues. They will also be able to relate characteristics of rocks and minerals to their uses. In the English Language Arts curriculum, students will be able to interact with sensitivity and respect, considering the situation, audience, and purpose, and they will be expected to use writing and other forms of representation to explore, clarify, and reflect on their thoughts, feelings, experiences, and learnings, and to use their imaginations. These English Language Arts outcomes will be described later when we discuss our idea for a follow-up activity after the field trip.
Finally, with the visual arts curriculum, students will examine a broad range of artworks through time and cultures, and students will bring personal meaning to artwork and communicate their discoveries. The Miners Museum pays tribute to the region's long and rich history of coal mining. It is home to the profound stories of the miners and their families and the resource that helped build a nation. The field trip begins by exploring their exhibit. This interactive exhibit features historic artifacts, art, fossils, and models, to name a few things you will expect. After experiencing the exhibit, students can step outside to tour the miners' village. This immersive experience will allow students to tour a replica of the company house circa mid-1800s and early 1900s. This allows students to understand what living conditions were like for the miners in the past. The Miners Museum also features a replica of the company store. Both the company house and the company store have tour guides to discuss the impact the company store had on mining families, as well as various interesting facts. Finally, students will get a tour of the Ocean's Deep Colliery, located beneath the Miners Museum. This hour-long immersive tour takes students within the mines. Their tour guide, Abby Mahalik, will recount his life story in relation to coal mining, as well as providing an easy-to-understand explanation of how the coal mines worked. They are very clear in communicating that if at any time during the tour you are nervous or uncomfortable, they will get you safely to the surface. After spending the morning at the Miners Museum, students will participate in a writing activity. Using a letter displayed at the Miners Museum featuring a letter from a coal miner to his wife as an example, students will take the perspective of a coal miner and pretend to write a letter to a loved one to explain what their life was like based upon their experiences at the Miners Museum. Students will be required to create a rough draft and a final draft using the proper format of a letter. Students will then have the opportunity to share their letters with one another. This can be used as a summative assessment to determine what students learned from their field trip. We as teachers thoroughly enjoyed the Miners Museum exhibit, village, and Ocean's Deep Colliery. We think that students would also love to take part in this field trip. It has so many opportunities for them to learn and to take an appreciation for the local history of Glace Bay.
We mine coal in a 3-foot seam in number 10, 11, and 24 coal mine. And if you got higher in that mine in a 3-foot seam, you have to be over 6 feet in height. That's too bad. Sir, can I go down the road? The mine down there, they're on a 12-foot seam. I'm over 6 feet in height. Can I go down there? No, sirree. Unless it closed down, you might get transferred to that mine. But in the meantime, we'll do something for you. What are you gonna do for me?